Welcome to Unews. I'm Carolina Sarassa. Happy Friday, Feliz Viernes, and thank you for being with us today. We begin this hour with the growing scandal at the White House. President Trump admitting Democrats have the votes to impeach him. Posted text messages. They reveal detailed conversations and also show a potential quid pro quo in Trump's efforts to investigate his rivals. Andrea Linares has more. We're also learning more about Volker's opening statement to Congress during that closed-door testimony yesterday. Volker said Trump thought Ukraine was full of, quote, terrible people and suggested Ukraine tried to take him down, meaning the country was involved in that 2016 election meddling, something that's unproven. Volker also added it was clear Trump was getting negative information from other sources, including Rudy Giuliani. Volker also testified he tried to warn Ukraine that it was okay to fight corruption, but don't do anything that would seem to impact the U.S. election. We'll stay on top of this story. Caro, now back to you. Thank you, Andrea, for that report. And President Trump is convinced that he was right to ask a foreign government for help in investigating corruption. He made that statement on Twitter. Lorraine Cáceres has more.
Mitt Romney from Utah has distanced himself from Republicans in his reaction to the president's actions, saying on Twitter that for the president to suggest that his request to China and Ukraine is anything but political, quote, strains credulity, calling it wrong and appalling. Carolina, back to you.
Thank you, Lorraine. And now new Democratic candidate fundraising numbers are in. Senator Elizabeth Warren disclosed the numbers in the vaping crisis. The CDC now reporting more than 1,000 injuries linked to vaping, with cases in nearly every state. So far, authorities can confirm 19 fatalities. It was reported Thursday, according to the Connecticut Department of Public Health. The person, Greta Thunberg, is headed to Iowa City today for a student-led protest. Local strikers there are demanding. Coming up, we have details on the accusations. And we'll come back to Unews. The Supreme Court is adding an abortion case to its busy election year docket. The justices have agreed. Today, we have more details on the new Planned Parenthood Center we first told you about yesterday. That facility was kept a secret during most of the construction to avoid demonstrations and delays. But as David Romo explains, it is expected to become one of the largest abortion centers in the country. And now to Nevada, the hotel where America's worst mass shooting happened has reached a landmark settlement with shooting victims. Victims agreeing to settle for close to $800 million with MGM Resorts International. Juan Carlos Gonzalez has details on this deal. We're also learning more about a vintage bomber that crashed in Connecticut, killing 7 people. Officials say the pilot, who had more than 7,000 hours of experience flying that type of plane, was killed along with the co-pilot. Meanwhile, the wife of another victim says her husband texted her several times before and during takeoff, describing problems with the plane. Paula Byron has more details. And authorities say they are looking into reports that work was being done on 1 or 2 of the engines prior to takeoff. The plane had been through a major inspection a couple of months ago. It had also been involved in an incident during a hard landing outside Pittsburgh in the 1980s. And now a judge in Texas denied a bond reduction for a former Border Patrol agent accused of murdering 4 people. The assaulted is one of the many dangers migrants face while attempting to cross the border, but authorities say fear of communicating with authorities means many of these assault cases are never reported. Jorge Hernandez explains. And now let's go to Texas, where a new rule is causing controversy. The state's Department of Public Safety is now requiring troopers to stay in shape, but police officers say the rule is demeaning and filed a lawsuit. Pedro Rojas is live in my information live from Texas. And up next, shocking new video. And welcome back to Unews. Bullying complaints are happening very often in one California school district. This week, a shocking video shows how several young girls targeted classmates in front of her teacher. Salvador Duran spoke to the victim and to 2 of the attackers. Florida deputies say the fatal shooting of a man in Gulf Breeze was an accident. Suspected Coquet's funeral services for beloved Mexican singer Jose Jose began today in Miami. Family members, celebrities, and fans are lining up to say their final goodbyes. Carolina Rosario is at the funeral home with the latest. Carolina, what is the scene like?
Good afternoon. I am right now in Caballero Rivero Funeral Home. The viewing of the great singer Jose Jose is taking place at this moment. This is a private event for family, close friends, politicians, and some artists that were invited. They have been arriving since 1 p.m. in the afternoon. We have seen different composers, musicians that used to go to concerts and play along with the great Jose Jose. They're coming in to the funeral home, and what can I tell you guys? Private event, as I said before. There's going to be another public event for all the fans on Sunday. It's hosted by Univision and Sarita's family, Jose Jose's family, and it's going to be open to the public. It's going to take place in the auditorium of Miami-Dade College in the city. All the incidents that happened through the afternoon, and of course, we'll keep you updated. Now back to you.
Thank you, Carolina, for that report. And nearly a week after the legendary Mexican singer passed away, friends and fans around the world are mourning his loss and celebrating his life. Unews sat down with one of Jose Jose's dearest confidants about their friendship and Jose Jose's struggles with addiction. And your health news is up next. Unews. King Arthur flour has issued a recall due to concerns over possible E. coli contamination. The voluntary recall cover now will introduce you to the 81. She's in her 9th decade on Earth. She's also now up for her first Latin Grammy Award. Andres Echavarria has more on the incredible 81-year-old. And finally, check this out. Video of a cheetah cub in the weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Hasta lunes. Thank you.